Okay, so here we are again. We're after our last initial test fire. We have some lessons learned, and we're gonna learn those lessons. We're gonna check that out. So first things first, we did get it running, but at the end of the video it cut off. That motor ran for a few minutes and then basically stopped, and we couldn't get it started again. It just wouldn't. Kind of traced it down to a fuel delivery issue. There was basically no fuel coming out of this line that attaches up to the carburetor, and we still haven't determined if it's a fuel pump or a blockage in the line given the age of the fuel tank, but it could be either or, so we're gonna look at that. But first things first, we also learned that unlike our little outboard, we can't just drop this in a bucket of water and expect it to pick up. What I've learned since then is that the outdrive basically has to be submerged in order for the impeller, which is right about here in the unit, in order for it to draw up water. So there's two ways to emulate submerging it. One is to run put the earmuffs on the water intake area and pressurize it up from there. Or there's what the manual says to do is, under all circumstances, ensure engine has sufficient coolant supply. Avoid engine overheating, which can cause costly engine damage. Use a flushing adapter. So since the manual specifically recommended that, we have to trust the engineers. So we go looky what we happen to have here. It is a new old stock OMC flushing adapter kit. About 70 bucks on eBay. They're readily available, part 173556. So we're going to install that first so we can hook up our hose and ensure adequate cooling supply while we dink around trying to get the engine running again. And then from there, maybe we can figure out the extent of the little knocking noise. So we're going to try that and see what we can accomplish today. Okay, so let's see what we got in this flushing adapter kit here. We don't know because it's taped. It's taped. Son of a bitch. Oh, hold on, I gotta get something to open that tape with. Alright, so got that open. Let's see what we got in here. What kind of goodness. Got some stuff. So effectively what this does is it replaces this thing on the outdrive, this plate here, with the same thing. The water comes up through there. There's a channel in there, but this gives us a little hose adapter right on the side that we can plug our hose into. So we're gonna pull that one off and put this one on, and hopefully that'll do what we need it to do. Okay, so here's basically how the assembly of that works. And it's text. So basically saying, yep, we should put that on there. So we're gonna go ahead and remove this plate. I've got a 10mm socket, which is probably slightly the wrong size, but we'll go ahead and do that and start getting these removed. Probably don't need to watch all that, but we're going to pull these screws out here. Pardon my fingers. Those guys are being bummers. So we'll get this off and then we'll see what's going on in there. Okay, so down to the last bolt. We'll just get that sucker off of there, like so. Yeah, that'll do. Don't need that anyway. Oh, we got, oh, yep, definitely got water hole. Seems legit. Okay. So pick up our screw. Oh man. Don't get old, kids. Do not get old. Okay. Got the plate, which we're going to reuse, and our screws. Okay. So now we'll get our kit and we'll throw that on. Okay, so this goes the adapter, then the gasket, and then there's a plate. So then there's this metal plate. So we go gasket, yep, and then this plate. And then we screw it all back in. So not talent enough to hold the camera at the same time, but just bolted in the way we took it off. Okay, so that sucker's on now. We tightened it down. I think it wanted like 80 inch-pounds of torque or something, so we just basically cranked it tight, and then now you can see we've got our little deal on there that comes off. So yeah, this guy unscrews, and then there's another adapter deal that goes on, and then they'll let us put our hose in there later. Gotta have good hose. Okay, so there's that. So now we're gonna do some fuel system tests, and then, you know, hopefully get it started with our hose adapter adapting. Cool. Okay, so now that we've got our little adapter on there, we can try and figure out why our poor little engine isn't getting fuel. So two things come to mind. And oh, by the way, I am not an actual boat mechanic or any kind of mechanic. I just a troubleshooter and trying to figure this out on my own. So if you watch this, don't take any of what I do as the right way to do things. It's just stuff I've either gained learning from reading about the motor through the manual, or, you know, the internet, which is always a great source of misinformation. But anyway, so we've got where the fuel line connects up to the carburetor, and then we've got a fuel pump down in there, a little blue thing there, to a fuel filter, to an external line, which we're going to connect to our tank there. The reason we're going to do this is because we're going to eliminate, it's going to show us two things. If we can put that external line into an external tank, and the fuel pump pulls up fuel, then we know the fuel pump is good, and there's probably a blockage in the fuel lane to the internal tank, which will be a whole new issue. But if it's not drawing up fuel from this, then we will know that the fuel pump is probably bad, which is a whole nother issue. So at least we'll be able to cut our problem in half. So we'll do that, and we're gonna try and crank it over here in a second. Okay, so we got our hose and our fuel there. It goes up there. We're gonna crank the motor, and technically we're kind of hoping we should just see fuel come out of there. So we'll see what happens here. Let's turn it over a few times and find out. Well, we're not really seeing any fuel come out. That's interesting. Did fill up the fuel filter. Let's give it a little more. See if it draws that up. Definitely an interesting thing we got going on there. Oh, you didn't see it, but it was dumping fuel out pretty good. So we might actually have a blockage from the fuel tank, which makes sense because that was pretty cruddy. So we're gonna reconnect it. Just reconnect this here to the old fuel carburetor deal. Get that in there as good as we can. And I'd wager that this baby's gonna fire up now. So let's let some of that spilled fuel evaporate for a second. Actually, we don't blow ourselves up. So yeah, so we've put the fuel line back on, and since it was splurging out of that, probably should have got a better video of that, but hey, it's YouTube. We're gonna actually try and turn over, and I'm thinking we're probably gonna be able to get it started. So let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and crank it here and see if it fires up. Yep. Just had to get gas to her. Okay, still got a little bit of a clonk there, but we'll figure that out. Probably around video 18 or so. Okay. Good news, everybody. So now we're gonna go on to our next part. Now we're gonna have to get in there and pull the fuel tank and clean it out. Probably blow the line out. So we'll see. If we have an old steel fuel tank, which is under the dash here, we gotta pull some screws out, it looks like, on that kick panel. And see what we're dealing with. And if it's a original steel fuel tank, we're gonna go ahead and probably pull it out, replace it with a newer plastic one, and we'll have to wait till that gets here. So, but that's good. That's good. We're back to almost square zero. Okay, so we're gonna get down in here. We're gonna take this panel off, see what we got in the fuel tank situation. Now, I don't think it's original, but there's just three. Looks like there's three little screws holding on. So we're gonna get those out real quick using our handy dandy. Just got this baby at Harbor Freight to replace a power drill I bought at Harbor Freight something like 15 years ago. So it's time for a new one. Got this sucker on sale for like 60 bucks, 20 volt. It's awesome. It's my new favorite tool. So we're gonna take these screws out. I'm glad there's only three because I'm seriously getting too old for this shit. Two. I said three. That was longer. Awesome. Let's see if this removes. Oh yeah, it comes right out of here. Let's see what we got going on. Probably got some spiders. I imagine. There's always spiders. Let's see. Oh yeah. Oh. Looks like it is a newer fuel tank. Interesting. That's actually good news. That's really good news. Nice plastic one. We're still gonna have to take it out and clean it, I think, but that's good. I got some gas in there. That was really cool. Did not know that. So, all right. Well, let's see. We gotta pull this panel out. Probably gonna do some of the shitty wiring, stereo wiring that's in there while we're at it. I really like that. Okay. Some bullshit here. Bullshit wiring. Bullshit spiders. That's cool. Purple board. Okay. So that's what we're looking at. It's strapped in there. Just yank that puppy out and let's see. Huh. Well, they did have the decency to tie it up pretty good. Let's see. I don't know if that'll help. Probably not. There we go. that end out. Understandably, everything's a little stiff in here. All right, well, I need both hands to work on this, so we're gonna basically untie these straps and then go from there. All right, so change of plans after trying to dig with the fuel tank. It's a bit of a bitch to get out. We can do it if we have to, but instead, I kind of went the other route and did a little compressed air through the return fuel, or back through the fuel line to the fuel tank to blow away any supposed sediment that might there, and just see if we can run it. We've got a fuel filter in line. Hopefully it'll catch whatever. Probably not the smartest thing to do, but we'll try it and see what happens here. See if we can get started. But in the meantime, we're gonna hook up our hose, and then if we get it started, we'll turn on our water real quick. So we're just gonna attach that baby to our flush mount thing that we installed earlier, and I really need to get a camera stand. There we go. Let's get that in there, right? Tight there, so we should be able to enable some water to that baby. Hose and whatever. Okay, so now we're gonna try and start her up again. Let's see what happens. There's probably a little fuel left in the line, so I'll probably start for a little bit and we'll see what happens here. Hopefully good things. Okay, let's crank her on. Go ahead and give it some water. Years of sitting. Oh yeah. Look at Ticket. Good old. Too many beef burritos. He's running though. Oh, our neighbors aren't gonna like that. It's getting clearer. It's getting clearer. Gotta figure out what this knocking noise is. I think we got the same problem we had before. Water started clearing up though. Well, at least she works. Just gotta go from there. Yeah, a lot of gunk came out of that thing. A lot. We'll just let that run for a while. So yeah, it seems like seems like things are working. I don't know, it's making just sounds like some valve noise. We're gonna change all the oils and all that stuff and try that, but we're gonna just check the trim functionality, check the power steering. Haven't actually tried that yet. So let's fire her up. Got our water running. Oh, yeah. Fire's right up, which is good. Figure that out one of these days.